South Carolina, Nikki Haley, the governor, is taking on Secretary Napolitano. Why? Well, in South Carolina, some businesses use E-Verify to review workers' immigration status. Governor Haley wants state officials to check up on businesses to make sure they're compliant. But the DHS, it says no. Governor Haley just sent a harsh letter to Secretary Napolitano to push her to permit state investigators to access the E-Verify documents. Governor Nikki Haley joins us now. Good evening, Governor.
Hi, Greta. How are you?
I'm very well. So I have a copy of this letter that you've sent Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano. And in the first paragraph, you make it very plain that you're not happy with her, that you've tried to contact her a number of times. And you say that she's busy. You understand that, but you're disappointed that she's not responding to you. What's up?
You know, I think she owes me a response. We were basically, my labor secretary was told the end of April that we could not enforce our illegal immigration laws. And at that point, we got on the phone with Secretary Napolitano's office. We had repeatedly made phone calls, and the Obama administration did not respond. And so I sent a letter and went public on Friday and said, look, we have illegal immigration laws for a reason. South Carolina takes illegal immigration very seriously. Let us enforce our laws. We need to be able to use this E-Verify system, and I need the federal government to get out of the way. They have gotten in the way when it comes to health care in South Carolina. They have gotten in the way when it comes to unions and which companies can create jobs in South Carolina. And now they're getting in the way with the fact that I'm trying to govern a state, enforce illegal immigration, and they're keeping me from doing it. It's got to stop, and we're calling them out on it.
Well, I don't want to put any more fuel on the fire, but you might also remember that in Arizona on another immigration law is that the way that they fought Arizona on its particular law, whether it's constitutional or not, will be determined by the Supreme Court. But they said that immigration was a national issue, and they very much wanted Arizona to get out of it. So to the extent that they're not helping you enforce their law is curious.
Well, you know, you're looking at President Obama saying that he's taking illegal immigration seriously. But then on the other hand, it's his administration that's stopping us from enforcing it. And saying one thing and doing another is the problem we've had with this administration from the very beginning. I'm trying to govern a state. I'm trying to manage my state and lead it in a way that's in a positive direction. And he continues to stop at every step of the way when it comes to good policy. And we're not going to be quiet about it. This is something we take seriously in South Carolina. I'm going to be loud about it. I need to be able to enforce legal immigrants in South Carolina and make sure that our businesses are handling that accordingly. And they owe South Carolina a response as to why they're keeping us from doing that.
Besides the issue of whether it's against the law or not, why does it make a difference to you as governor if there are if there are illegal workers in the state? What's the real impact on South Carolina now?
Well, you know, you have to go back to the heart of the principle of this country. I am the daughter of immigrant parents, and they came here legally. They paid their time, they paid their price, and they are offended by those that come here illegally. We are a country of laws. When we give up being a country of laws, we're giving up everything this country is founded on. We have got to make sure that people come here properly. We've got to make sure that our businesses are hiring citizens or making sure that they have work visas. We cannot allow any illegal immigrants in our state or in our country, and we have to really stand behind what we say. We can't just talk about it. We actually have to enforce it. And that's what my labor secretary is trying to do. That's what my administration has required her to do, and that's what President Obama is stopping.
Well, it seems to me that there are two issues. One is the fact is that you ought to be able to communicate with the federal government on an issue like this. I mean, Secretary Napolitano and the administration should get back to you, and I see in your letter that it's replete with examples of what you've tried to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to use this E-Verify system to check up on businesses. Do you not have other means to do that?
Well, you know, E-Verify is it's a credible way of checking for verification for legal immigrants. But let's be clear, I'm not asking for date of birth. I'm not asking for any sort of numbers or identification that would compromise these people. What we're saying is show us the E-Verify summary that's by last name only. So if you tell me you hired Douglas, Walker, and Smith, you know, show me the summary sheet that says that you E-Verified them. And that's what the Homeland Security is not allowing us to do. That goes to the heart of making sure that businesses are actually doing what we tell them to do. We can't just take their word for it. We really have to enforce it and make sure that we're handling our laws properly. And so that's why immigration reform is important, not just in South Carolina, but across this country, because we are forced to pay for the education of these illegal immigrants. We're forced to pay for health care through the federal mandates. We can't continue to pay for something we don't want. But what we are asking is to allow us to enforce the issues so that we can have them go somewhere else and not in the state of South Carolina.
All right, we only have about 30 seconds left. Does Department of Homeland Security make sure that they're legal or illegal? Are they checking up on this?
You know, they're not. We haven't heard anything from them. After I made my comments on Friday and made repeated phone calls, we sent this letter, and suddenly Secretary Napolitano said that she would call us back tomorrow. So we are glad that she is going to do that. But either way, we've got to make sure that states have the ability to enforce their laws. But let's be very clear. None of the states would have to do this if the federal government was doing their jobs and securing the borders.
And I take it you're not going to give up.
I am never going to give up.
I sort of got that feeling from it. Anyway, Governor, thank you, and I look forward to finding out how your telephone call is with Secretary Napolitano. I hope she calls tomorrow.
Thank you. It's always good to talk to you.